Hi, I'm Vikram. I'm a media professional based in Toronto, Canada since 2022. I live here with my spouse and a 5-year-old kid, and I have lived in Mumbai for almost 16 years. I'm excited to share my recent insightful experience with the subject of astrodosing by Rohit Roy. While this is not my first encounter with Rohit Roy and his expertise in astrodosing, this particular experience is exceptional. It started with a call from my elder brother on April 29th, informing me that my mother was not well and had been admitted to the ICU. My parents, they live in Ranchi, Jharkhand, where I was born and raised, and my elder brother lives in Bangalore with his family currently. My mother, who was already suffering from dementia, which Rohitda was monitoring already, her speech was affected and she mostly communicated with her gestures. And this time she experienced episodes of vomiting every time she ate. She had low blood pressure, dehydration, and low oxygen levels. The doctor said, acknowledging that all of her vital signs are dangerously low and the likelihood of recovery is really worrying. They have to conduct some diagnosis to come to a point. My elder brother was traveling to Ranchi then, and my father was alone with a few neighbors. I was having so much anxiety while I was sitting here in Toronto that I was unable to focus on anything. Then I called Rohitda to explain the situation. He needed some information to take action, so I gave him one full-sized photo of my mother and her ailments. Rohitda said, "Give me half an hour, I will tell you the real situation." In half an hour, Rohitda called me back and revealed my mother's actual condition, including why she was suffering and what had caused it. He took rapid action, stating that he would begin the healing process and she would be out of the hospital in 8 to 10 days approximately. Rohitda's earlier insight astonished me. I wondered how Rohitda was so accurate. I called him back and I reported all the updates. Rohitda explained to me that even when she is out of the hospital, she would need intense care at home. She will require 24/7 nursing to recover. He assured me he was consistently healing her and that she would soon be back on track. Though I felt anxious and restless about my mother, but Rohitda's words healed me. For almost 10 days, my mother was in the ICU, and each day was challenging because her health fluctuated. Rohitda kept guiding me with his healing reports, saying she would be fine but would take some time. My brother was there when she was released on April 9th. Although the doctor says she has recovered from jaundice, her mental health conditions and age factors are concerning. Her daily meals and medications are not being taken properly. At the very least, every other person pleaded with her to drink some water. My mother kept her mouth tightly closed so nobody could feed her anything. My brother said that we had to tie up her hands and force her to eat like a small kid. The food she was having were all mushed. One day, she slept so long that everyone tried waking her up, but she was not responding. When she was not having anything for so long, almost 12 hours, then her blood pressure level was dropping and dehydration was rapidly taking place. Everyone just got very concerned about what could be done. I remembered Rohitda's word that she needs significant attention and nursing when she returns home. My brother told me she needed to get admitted to the hospital again and she was not responding. I called Rohitda again and he started his healing process, saying there was no need to be sent to the hospital. Her brain needs recovery and that's why she is resting long. She will be okay with everything in a while. The same thing happened. A few minutes later, I got a call from my brother saying that she had woken up and was sipping some cup of tea. So that was a great relief for everybody, and I immediately reported it and thanked Rohitda. But it was not the same every day. My mother completely discarded food intake and medications. She becomes very stubborn and arrogant at times. For everyone, it was a big task to feed her. She always had a tendency to sleep. We were telling her to at least walk inside the room, but she was not showing any interest. Finally, I was called upon by my brother to fly down here to Ranchi, if possible, because the way my mother's health was, it was not looking positive. So I immediately flew to Ranchi from Toronto. It was April 15th when I arrived in Ranchi. After I got there, I was shocked to see my mother's face. She looked like a very old, sick lady. Looking at me, she was very surprised and was saying in gestures that from her neck to stomach, there was something that made her feel uncomfortable. I reported the same to Rohitda, and he was very happy to receive the live reports. He told me just to keep reporting. He also suggested me that I put the healing frequency sound beside her, which is easily available on Rohitda's ASTRO-DOWSING channel on YouTube. I put the healing frequency beside her, so when I started reporting Rohitda about my mother in detail, on reaching there, it was a big help. I saw that she was struggling to have food, and I immediately reported Rohitda. He said, "Let me do some healing, then she will feel like having something gradually." That was a miracle. My mother, after a few hours, requested back for food herself, and she had her food with less struggle at that time. I was amazed by that, and more minutely, I started reporting Rohitda. I realized that this detailed reporting helps Rohitda achieve accuracy. One day, again, she went to deep sleep for almost 10 to 12 hours, and all my neighbors and well-wishers suggested that I should take her to the hospital. We even called the doctor, and the doctor said to take her to the hospital. But as I was in constant chat with Rohitda, he suggested to me that it is again that her brain needs some healing. But as I was in constant chat with Rohitda, he suggested to me that it is again with her brain needs some healing. Rohitda said that he is trying out some expensive process that would take effect soon. She will wake up and will be good. As he said, after an hour, she suddenly woke up hungry and asked for food. It was a miracle effect for me. I was so overjoyed that I instantly called Rohitda and I congratulated him. Before that, I was feeling very helpless and weak. I started thinking again about hospitals where they would inject all heavy antibiotics and her health would land up at zero again. But with Rohitda's healing process, things were way different and I became more confident about it. After a few hiccups, my mother was at least in better shape, where she was feeling hungry and started doing little physical activities. So one day again, we took her to the doctor for a normal checkup, as the prescription was directed to come after a week. The doctor was astonished to see that my mother came physically for checkup, all the way walking. The doctor said it was a miracle that after so much suffering and the way things were, it was getting impossible with medicine. It is just a miracle. It is somewhat of a rare case. So I stayed in Ranchi for almost 1 month and I constantly stayed in touch with Rohitda. I set out a routine with the caretakers as I needed to resume my normal life, and I got my return tickets done on May 22nd. I was so relieved and confident when I was boarding the flight back to Canada, because when I was coming to India from Canada, at that time I thought I didn't know when I would be coming back. But in constant communication with Rohitda, my respect for the subject grew one more leap. And this is not a promotional video, it is my own experience with the subject which I have experienced. And I would like to recommend others to take benefit to the fullest. Rohitda is a gem of a person and his healing process is miraculous. Thank you very much, Rohitda, and all the best. Bye.